Yo, what's up, guys? Quick live stream. We're going to go through some early value bets for tomorrow. So we absolutely crushed Underdog Fantasy on the last live stream. We had this play, so we had some big wins. So regardless, let's kind of look through the market, try to find some good bets for tomorrow, and we'll start out on PrizePicks. So we'll start out on PrizePicks, which is, in these live streams, there's hundreds of sports books out there. I mean, there's 130 sports books on OddsJam, but in these live streams, I try to focus on the main ones: FanDuel, Fliff, DraftKings, PrizePicks, Underdog Fantasy. So that's what we'll start looking at. So let's just kind of load this up, take a look at the market. So we'll start out on PrizePicks, and there are a lot of good bets on PrizePicks. So the first play you can see that OddsJam is recommending is Lori over 8.5 rebounds. So what we can do is we can kind of load this up, and let's just try to lock in some plays quickly. So we'll hit this, and then we'll go ahead. We'll go to Colin Sexton under 5.5 assists. So again, the way that PrizePicks works is they'll give us the same payout, right? If we take LaMelo to go over or under 3.5 3-pointers made, the way that PrizePicks works is they have fixed payouts. So if we take LaMelo's over or is under, we get the same payout regardless. PrizePicks, they're always giving you a 3x payout for 2-pick entries. So the reason we want to take Lori's over 8.5 rebounds is all the sports books have his over heavily favored. And you can see the market has moved that way. So all the books, right, they're all data points, and they all have him heavily favored to go over 8.5 rebounds. If you kind of go through, the math behind PrizePicks, what you're going to see is to be profitable on PrizePicks. We have some videos on the OddsJam YouTube, but to be profitable long-term on PrizePicks, you got to get your picks correctly. Just like Lori over under 8.5 rebounds, you got to be able to win these bets above 54.25% of the time to make money long-term playing 5-pick flex plays. So why is this play why is this play winning above 54.25% of the time? Well, look at all the sports books. They all have his over heavily favored. Minus 150 means a 1.5 to 1 betting favorite, 60% to win. These sports books, they're not at minus 150, minus 145, but regardless, you get the point. His over is heavily favored. That's the pick we want to be on. So that can be the first pick we kind of go with in this entry. And then we just need to find some more plays. So we can check out Underdog as well. I mean, we'll check out all these sports books kind of in this live stream, but we'll start out on PrizePicks. So we have one good pick. We have Lori over 8.5 rebounds. All the books have his over heavily favored. That seems like a great play, to go with. But ideally, we can find some other picks to go with as well. So where do we want to start? I mean, we've already hit some of these esports plays. Vilga over 23. You can see PrizePicks already bumped, or they didn't bump her up. She was at 23. I mean, still, there's a lot of good esports plays on PrizePicks. It's honestly, you wouldn't expect it because it's obviously not football. It's not the most popular sport, but that's probably why there's more value, is there's hundreds of lines up, right? Thousands of lines up on Underdog Fantasy, on PrizePicks for esports. There's just so many games. And all these books set their own lines. So more games means more surface area for the books to cover. More profitable betting opportunities, hopefully, for us. So as an example, one play, I already locked this in, but just as a simple example, or maybe I didn't already lock it in. I thought I did, and maybe I didn't. But you can see Vilga over 23. The other sports books have her line, his line, her line set at 25, 27.5. So this seems like a great play to go with. I mean, even another play is this cat. So you can see we're already on cat over 23.5. So in the previous, I don't even remember if I gave this out on Twitter or live stream. We bet cat over 23.5. you can see her line on PrizePicks, his line on PrizePicks is already bumped up to 24.5. So line's already bumped higher. Still seems like it has pretty good value if you haven't already locked it in. Just take a look at the other sports books, right? Underdog Fantasy, billion-dollar company, really sophisticated models. They're taking bets, moving lines around based on where action's coming in. They have Cat's line at 25.5, Jock Market 29. And I mean, that's crazy, right? Like, imagine seeing an NBA player, a 5-point discrepancy. You know, LeBron's line is 24.5 points on one book, 29.5 on another book. You'd be like, that's insane. But that's essentially what you're getting here. It's the exact same bet. You know, like, I mean, it's insane. 24.5, 29.5. But again, like, I don't really want to bet it again. I already gave out Cat over 23.5. Now the line's bumped to 24.5. Still looks really good. All the other books have the line around, like, 27, 28. So it still seems like a really good play. But I already bet it. So maybe I won't, include it again. But it's the same thing. Like, we already actually have on the previous live stream, I gave out Lori over 32.5 points plus rebounds. So maybe instead of taking this play, I take Sexton under 5.5 assists. So it's roughly, it's the same strategy. PrizePicks, they give us the same damn payout. We take Sexton's over, we take his under, whatever for a player, you get the same payout. It's crazy. I mean, like, you think about most sports books, they give you different payouts if you take a player's over or under, not on PrizePicks. All the books have Sexton heavily favored to go under. That's the play we want to be on. But anyways, what we can do is let's just kind of go back here and let's try to find some plays to go with. So we already hit Cat over 24.5. So maybe what we'll do is we'll take Lori under 1.5 turnovers. Just because we already have him points plus rebounds, here's another play with value. If you look at the sports books, they all have his under 1.5 turnovers heavily favored. So you can kind of go here. I mean, you can, OddsGM doesn't do anything complicated. It's just reading in odds from sports books and pointing out value. So if you go to the Jazz game, they're playing the Nets. And then you just go to player turnovers, even if you don't use Fliff. I mean, it's still a sports book with a sophisticated model, posting lines. They have Lori heavily favored to go under. That's the pick we want to be on. So now we have two good plays, right? We have Sexton under, and then we have Lori under. But on PrizePicks, you want to go with 5-pick flex plays. If you again, we have a bunch of videos kind of breaking down the math behind PrizePicks. But what you're going to see is 5- and 6-pick plays are optimal. So what we can do next is we can go to CS2 and we can lock in this play, Vilga over 23. So again, we already have this play in, another play, but screw it. I mean, we might as well include it twice. Who cares? I'm going to be bored for the next couple of weeks with no NFL. PrizePicks has a line at 23, Underdog 25, Hot Streak 27.5, right? PrizePicks has their line too low relative to the market, so value's on the over. And so many people will be like, oh, you're taking Sexton's under just based on sportsbook odds, right? Why don't you care about, what he did in his last 5 games? He went over 5.5 assists in 4 out of his last 5 games. Why are we taking the under? Every game is different. Injuries, lineups, everything. It's baked into the market. It's already baked into the odds that sportsbooks are putting out, right? Unless you think you know something that the sportsbooks don't, that other sports bettors don't, because you got to remember, these sportsbooks are taking bets. They're moving lines based on where action's coming in. So you can see Sexton has moved towards the under. Pinnacle right here, which is known to be one of the sharper books, they've moved his line towards the under, right? So who knows? Maybe a bunch of sharp bettors started betting his under for tomorrow. Who knows, right? But you can see, like, it doesn't matter. You have dozens of data points, all these books telling you he's more likely to go under. So that's the pick we want to be on. And what we can go to next is just League of Legends. I mean, why not? We need ideally you want to have in these flex plays, 5-pick entries. So what we can do is we can just kind of lock in a 5-pick flex play on PrizePicks. This can be the play we go with. Again, I would love to bet more, but you're going to see maximum entry amount is $20. They only give me $20 on PrizePicks. I've made too much money off them. So I wish I could bet it for more, but I'm not going to be able to. So what we do is we just lock in a 5-pick flex play, 5 plays, all with an edge. I really think like an investor. I know not every bet's going to win, but I'm placing a bunch of bets with a mathematical edge. They're all profitable, winning above 54.25% of the time. So I know I'm going to beat PrizePicks long term. So anyways, next we can go over to Underdog Fantasy. I typically bounce around. Sometimes there's better bets on PrizePicks. Sometimes there's better bets on Underdog Fantasy. So, typically what I recommend is use multiple sports books. You never know where the value is going to be on a given day. And hopefully we can find some good bets. And we can. So what we can do is we can go here to Underdog Fantasy. And the first play that OddsJam is recommending is Zun and Fofo under 8. So let's just kind of take a look. I usually skip over these plays like Photon. You can see there's this line discrepancy. Hot Streak has his line at 3.5. Underdog has his line at 3. So there's a discrepancy in the market. That's what you want to see as a sports bettor, right? If all books have the same line, there's no value in the market. You want to see discrepancies, right? But long story short, you want to see discrepancies where there's more than one data point, ideally. So if you look at Fofo, Underdog Fantasy has his line at 8. ParlayPlay's at 7.5. Hot Streak has his line at 7.5 with the under favored. So not only do they have the line lower, but they have the under favored, right? There's more juice towards the under. So Hot Streak is telling you, hey, Fofo, he's more likely to go under 7.5 as opposed to over. His under is juiced. So he's more likely to go under 7.5. According to Hot Streak, Underdog Fantasy has a line at 8. So we found value in the market. And we've been hot on Underdog Fantasy. Again, we cashed 3 plays in a row, 3 6X plays, some of these esports plays, a lot of esports. And did these fuckers already lock it? So it looks like they already locked it. They already got rid of Fofo under 8. So now we just have Zun, which is annoying how quickly they can, speed is important. Like I say that all the time, but as a sports bettor, like these good lines are going to move quickly. So you want to try to move, as quickly as possible to get in these bets. So it's not ideal. I don't love placing bets where there's only one other data point, but sometimes that's just how it is. They already bumped Fofo. So what we can do is we can just take this as a little 3-pick entry. A little 3-pick, 3 spots with value. Underdog Fantasy play for tomorrow. So we have Zun under 8. All the other books had his line at 7.5. But anyways, what we can do is we can just go ahead and lock this in. Again, on Underdog Fantasy, they're giving you a 6X payout. So we're betting 100 to win 600. Here are our picks. And on PrizePicks, because a lot of people will be like, oh, why does it really matter if I play a 3-pick entry on PrizePicks versus Underdog? Is on PrizePicks, they only give you a 5X payout for 3-pick entries. So you're betting 100 to win 500. Whereas on Underdog Fantasy, we're betting 100 to win 600, a 6X payout. So it really makes a big difference long term. How many picks are you including in your entry on PrizePicks, on Underdog Fantasy? So we just locked in, some plays on Underdog. We can go back to PrizePicks. It's all the same stuff. Like there's nothing new here. It's all the plays we already locked in. So we got down basically. I mean, I'm never going to force a bet. If there's value, I'll place bets. If there's not value, I won't place bets. But it seems like we locked in kind of all the early value on the main sports books, Underdog and PrizePicks. So I'll call this live stream a day for now. Here's our play on PrizePicks. Boom, 5-pick entry. They limited me to $20, but just kind of how it is. And on Underdog, they limited me to $100 on this play, 3 esports plays with value. So hopefully this was helpful, and thanks so much for your time.